All right, welcome to the C Files, folks. I'm on a short schedule today to get this video out. Busy day scheduled. So, just real quick, I've been wanting to get back to Hebrews, the book of Hebrews in the Bible. I'm intent on doing that this week. It's just been a really busy weekend and everything. Of course, we got the holiday coming up on the 4th. If you have not gone and seen the Fandango movie, um, Something to Stand For, I saw that last night, and it is well worth your money and your time. Very, very good. Mike Rowe, who did Dirty Jobs many years ago, the TV series, was actually the one who produced that movie. And folks, it is worth your time. So if you haven't gone to see that, go see it. All right. Now, need I say it other than for my fellow baby boomers? CGI stands for computer generated image, because I know a lot of us, my age, probably don't know that. Maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe you're not. Maybe we're not as far out of what's happening today as we think. But if we're consuming the mainstream media propaganda machine, and if we're consuming a lot of the social media propaganda machine, which, by the way, censorship of anything that gets close to the truth is a way of life with these folks, then we have no clue what's going on, and we have no clue as to how we should be viewing things. Now, I don't take my thoughts from them, okay? Because number one, I cannot trust anything I see in video. Anything I see in video can be faked. It can be CGI. It could be actors with a mask playing someone. And so I'm like, I don't know what's real and what's not real. I can't trust any of it. At this point in time, in this point in history, I can't trust anything I see on the news. I can't trust anything I see on YouTube. I can't trust anything I see in video because, folks, even this video of me could be CGI and you would not even know it wasn't me. But it is. It is me. I don't do CGI. I don't have that kind of technology. If you look behind me, you'll see the technology I have. Old-fashioned books, okay? That's where I spend a lot of my time, is with old-fashioned books. And a nice, this is my cauliflower rice protein drink. Eating whole foods has trimmed me down. It's put my blood pressure right where it should be when it was high before. I've recovered from a cardiac arrest, right? A heart attack from 2019. So that's what? Well, come in November, that'll be 5 years ago. Do I take the recommended medications? No, I do not. I do not. What I did is I changed my lifestyle and I changed how I eat. I cut out all the processed foods, It went strictly with food that God made. Fruits, vegetables, meats. I don't even eat bread. I don't even make sandwiches with bread anymore. And if you do the lettuce thing with the meat and stuff inside, but you put mayonnaise all over it, you've really not, I mean, the mayonnaise kind of defeats everything you're trying to do, right? So here's the thing. We got to learn how to think on our own. We got to stop panicking over everything that's put out on the news. A lot of it's fake. A lot of it's just hyped up propaganda to stir fear. And a lot of it is not worth your time. Um, but what happens? People form marches and they graffiti things and they tear things up and they get angst against their neighbors over fake crap that's put out on the news. It's really unbelievable. Cheers. So let's get back into reality and not buy into all of the fake crap that's being fed to us in the media and on YouTube and TikTok and everywhere else where there's video and there's fake narratives being pushed. How do we get our anchor point? How do we get our stability, right? If you have a ship in the water, it has a keel that keeps it stable. You have a rudder that directs it. You have an anchor that will anchor it in the harbor, right? How do we find our center, right? Our place of balance. Well, you got to start with the source. You got to start with your creator. If you don't start with your creator, the one who made you, then you're never going to find your balance. If you want to understand how to handle a ship in the ocean, you first have to understand the engineering of that ship, don't you? You have to understand how that ship was created, how it functions, the proper function for it, and how to properly operate it. Well, we have the same mandate. Well, guess what? Let me grab and read something. Operating manual. That's our operating manual. God gave it to us so that we won't be totally lost in this life as to how we're to live and how to conduct ourselves, right? I mean, if we don't have that, then what do we have? We have nothing. So a lot of people are running around in this life totally confused because they're doing what everybody else is doing and following what everybody else is doing and trying to fit in and be normal in society, which society is moving to abnormal, and society is moving in a direction that's contrary to how it was created to be. And so to fit in, to virtue signal and try to fit in and try to, be like everybody else, we move in the wrong direction with society and we just get caught up in that stream. And Christ said, and I don't use this a lot because it's misused an awful lot, but basically the road to hell is wide and the road to life is narrow, right? If you're going to have life, you're going to have to take a different path than what society is taking right now, because society is running off to hell. There. I don't know of any better way to say it. You got to think outside of the box, folks. And one of the big problems with my generation is we never thought outside the box. We thought within the box of the Tavistock Institute, Operation Paperclip news media that fed us a bunch of nonsense, and we bought into it and believed it. And people say, where do you get your news? Right here. There's my news. Genesis to Revelation is my news. All right. Where else did I get it? Books like do I have the book up here? No, must have it downstairs. It's in my bag downstairs. Book like The Committee of 300. People who actually write books that actually they actually know what they're talking about. Dr. John Coleman wrote that book. He did incredible research on that. Incredible research. Books like Intelligent Design that I'm looking at up here by Dembski, who really knows his stuff. I go to people who actually do understand what they're talking about, and I read their materials. I don't read the materials of people who are just following society. They were just doing what everybody else is doing. I read the materials of the people who actually sit down and actually really do think through things and actually do have original thoughts and actually do connect with their creator and say, you know what, I've got to get to know the creator better. You see, I don't spend all my time learning about the creation. I spend my time learning about the one who created the creation. To me, the ultimate study is the study of knowing God. There was a book called Knowing God. I read it years ago, and I think I would recommend that to anybody to read because it really, really begins to center you. Once you understand who God is and the relation between God and man, you're starting to find your center. You're starting to figure it out. And then once you realize that there's been a deception campaign occurring since Satan deceived Eve in the garden, you're starting to figure it out because now you know that throughout history there's been a deception campaign going on. And that it's no different today. There's a deception campaign going on. And we have to break free from that deception. And I'll end with this. I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I'm going to do a special thing on this. Eve worshipped the tree. And the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was the pride of life, the lust of eyes, and the lust of the flesh. She saw that it would make her wise. That's the pride of life. In other words, it would make her to where she could rule over Adam, to where she could be her own woman, to where she could, question God, right? And it made her. It was pleasant to the eyes to look at, and it was pleasant to the taste, the flesh, right? That was the tree. Now, Adam, he wasn't focused on the tree. He was focused on Eve. What was Adam doing? Adam was making Eve his idol. She was making the tree her idol. The liberated woman, that was her idol. And he was making her his idol. Her beauty, her, the magnificent thing that she was, that God made her to be. Adam was beginning to worship that. And so she could easily manipulate and control Adam because Adam was so focused on her that he lost his perspective on God. He lost his center. And once he lost his center, he was easily led by the nose and pulled around. And pretty much she could do what she wanted and lead Adam right into it. And that's exactly what happened. They lost their center. And they missed the mark, which is the definition of sin. That means they fell short of the standard of perfect holiness that God had set for them. Romans says they fell short of the glory of God, and so have we. And so That's the real story today. That's the real story. Not nuclear war, not pandemics, not shots put out by Big Pharma that makes them a lot of money. Not the medical industrial complex. Um, those are stories. Those are important things in our lives temporarily. But the real story is behind all of that is the real deception. And the real deception was put out by Satan. The real deception was put out by the original rebellion against God and spread to us. And so we need to focus on that one. And we have a solution, and that's the good news. And the solution came and died on that cross 2,000 years ago for our sins, right? And that was Yeshua. That was Jesus Christ. He, God in the flesh. John chapter 1. Go read it. Turn off the propaganda news and go read your Bible. It's that simple. And if you have a problem, find a solution. I didn't run to the doctor when I had a problem and believe everything the doctor was telling me. I thought for myself. I did my own research, and guess what? I'm healthy. Why am I healthy? Because I didn't buy into all of the nonsense and the garbage that was being fed to me. That's why. And we need to start doing that. We need to start thinking for ourselves. But shouldn't we run to the experts? Well, the experts have misled us how many times? How much have the experts misled us? Experts ran our country most of my life. What kind of job have they done? Lousy job, folks. They've done a lousy job running our country. So no, I'm not real big on the experts. You know what I'm big on? I'm big on God's wisdom. That's what I'm big on. Because God doesn't make mistakes, and his wisdom is perfect. I could care less what the experts have to say. Yeah, like Dr. Spock when he was trying to tell us how to raise our kids back in the 1980s. He got just about everything wrong. But he was the big expert. And everybody was following him. All the babbling sheep were following him. Bah! We're going to be like everybody else. Bah! We're going to follow this expert. Bah! Because we can't think for ourselves. Bah! Think for yourself. Get God's wisdom. And when the experts are at odds with God's wisdom, dump the experts. It's really that simple. All right. That's my message for the day. I'll see you next time on the C-Files. God bless.